Ever seen a human beg for mercy? No, me neither, Commander K sneered as he addressed the assembly. The various species gathered, eyeing each other nervously. K's 7-foot frame dominated the center, his scaled fists clenched as he paced. They haven't participated in a single galactic conflict in over a millennium. They hide behind their diplomacy and their fragile alliances, too scared to stand on their own two legs. The Terran Empire had long been a subject of ridicule, their absence from the war fronts of the galaxy interpreted as cowardice for centuries. Humanity had managed to stay out of the fray, negotiating peace where others waged war, buying time with treaties and trade deals. It was a strategy that had kept their worlds intact while others burned, but it had earned them little respect. Force them to choose a side: either they fight with us against the Krogan, or we dismantle their precious empire piece by piece. They won't fight. Case, they'll surrender before the first shot is fired. Humans are too civilized to evolve to get their hands dirty. The assembly nodded. The decision all but made. It was a war that had raged for decades, consuming entire systems in its fury. The Council had grown desperate for an edge, and the Terran Empire, with its vast resources and advanced technology, was an untapped well. If they refused, the Council would invade and strip them of their riches. But what the Galactic Council had failed to understand, what they could not have known, was that humanity's peace was not born from fear. The humans had not forgotten how to wage war. They had simply chosen not to, believing that their survival depended on it. The message was sent, broadcasted across the galaxy on every frequency, in every language known to the Council. 2 days later, the Council received a response. The message was short, almost disappointingly so: 3 simple words. We accept, prepare. There was no additional context, no conditions, no negotiations, just a promise that the Terran Empire would join the war effort. He growled, his eyes narrowing at the screen. This isn't the response of a frightened species. Saint shifted uneasily beside him. They're joining the war, but why so suddenly? Why so casually? The Council members exchanged nervous glances, the earlier bravado evaporating in the face of this unexpected development. Humanity's response had been far too calm, far too measured. It was not the reaction of a species reluctantly dragged into conflict. It was the response of a species that had been waiting for an excuse. What do we know about their military? K demanded, turning to his aides. What are we up against? The Terran Empire has been notoriously secretive about its military capabilities. We have estimates based on trade records and technological exports, but estimates. K interrupted, his voice rising in anger. What do we have on their actual forces? Their fleet is large, but it's been engaged primarily in exploration and trade protection. They haven't fought a major war in over 1,000 years. Their soldiers are rumored to be well trained, but again, we have no solid data. Their last recorded engagement was a skirmish with the Drari, which ended in a diplomatic settlement before any real conflict could occur. K's frustration mounted. And what of their weapons? Unknown, Vil replied, his mandibles clicking anxiously. The commander slammed his fist down on the console, the force of the blow reverberating through the chamber. Damn it, we're walking into this blind. Stahl placed a tentative hand on K's arm. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach. Send a delegation to negotiate terms. They're joining the war, but why so suddenly? Why so casually? The Council members exchanged nervous glances, the earlier bravado evaporating in the face of this unexpected development. It was not the reaction of a species reluctantly dragged into conflict. It was a response of a species that had been waiting for an excuse. What do we know about their military? K demanded again, turning to his aides. What are we up against? One of his officers, a squat insectoid being named Vil, fidgeted nervously. The Terran Empire has been notoriously secretive about its military capabilities. We have estimates based on trade records and technological exports, but estimates. K interrupted, his voice rising in anger. What do we have on their actual forces? Their fleet is large, but it's been engaged primarily in exploration and trade protection. They haven't fought a major war in over 1,000 years. Their last recorded engagement was a skirmish with the Drari, which ended in a diplomatic settlement before any real conflict could occur. K's frustration mounted. And what of their weapons? Their tactics? Unknown, Vil replied, his mandibles clicking anxiously. The Terran Empire does not share such information, and their dealings with other species have been strictly not. The commander slammed his fist down on the console, the force of the blow reverberating through the chamber. Damn it, we're walking into this blind. Stahl placed a tentative hand on K's arm. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach. Send a delegation to negotiate terms, ensure that their involvement will be to our advantage. K shook his head. No, we've already committed to this course. If we back down now, we'll appear weak. And weakness is something we cannot afford, not with the Krogan breathing down our necks. They would meet the humans on the battlefield and secure their assistance by any means necessary. The Krogan were a fearsome enemy. Their biotechnological weapons and relentless aggression a constant threat. The Council had expected to fight a war of attrition, but with humanity's involvement, they hoped for a swift and decisive victory. As the fleet waited for the Terran forces to arrive, tension ran high. Others whispered of mysterious superweapons hidden away on Terran worlds, capable of annihilating entire planets. But as the hours passed and no sign of the Terran Empire appeared, doubts began to creep in. They said they would be here. Perhaps they're planning to rendezvous with us further out, Saul suggested, though his tone was uncertain. Kay was about to reply when an alert flashed across the main console. Incoming transmission, the communications officer announced. It's from the Terran Empire. On-screen, Carey ordered. The image that appeared was not what anyone had expected. It was not a fleet, nor a delegation of human diplomats. He stood in what appeared to be the command center of a warship, though the design was unlike any the Council had seen before. We are en route to your location. Prepare to receive us. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Kay stared at the blank screen, his mind racing. There had been no sign of hesitation, no trace of the weakness he had expected from the humans. Something's not right, Kay muttered, more to himself than to anyone else. They're too confident. Stiever, the voice of caution, nodded. The humans may have been hiding their true strength from us all along. Kay scowled but said nothing. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something far more dangerous than they had anticipated. And as the shadow of the Terran Empire loomed ever closer,